Dallas.
What?
Guess what?
Chicken butt.
No?
Oh, I'm very confused then. What?
It's our 200th episode of Com Talk.
What? Are you kidding me?
Right?
Now bringing aboard the ship, the Rushmore show.
What?
What? What is happening here? Celeste, something's happening on the planet Geekery right this second.
Glix, Priority Alpha Command, open comms now.
Loading geek culture language patches. Loading spiritual applications. Loading grace and hope directives. Comms opening in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to the Contact Podcast. This is the devotion of the show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to let you know you're loved. I'm Dallas, and I'm so glad to have you guys here with us for our 200th episode. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me is my beautiful bride, Celeste. How are you doing, babe?
I'm good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too because randomly appearing on the deck of the ship, ladies and gentlemen, the men, the myth, the mysteries, Rushmore.
What just happened? Where are we?
What's going on now?
Hey guys, welcome to the party. If you look out the port side, you'll see Earth. Don't slip. You are further in the stratosphere than Katy Perry. Congratulations.
We did it. We did it.
I'm so proud of the both of you.
Relevant joke. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. So taco machine's over there. You know, just don't hit the red button. That is not for salsa.
Well, we're about to lose half the ship now. Great. Thank you for that,
Dang.
Kirk.
Sorry, guys.
It's
I like tacos.
It's all good. Hey, this is our 200th episode, and we've been in Anime April all month long. And all month long here on Com Talk, we've been doing our top 4, kind of in homage to you guys. And for our listeners who have been listening, you've been hearing the promo for them. These are the guys. These are the men, the myth, mystery of Rushmore. I'm so glad to have you guys here. Kirk and Andy. Guys, tell the crew listening, who is Rushmore?
Kirk, take it away, man.
Yeah, man. So we are we're a group of guys that are youth pastors at heart, dads, coaches, teachers. We got together hanging out at our church and decided that after Kirk, moved to Atlanta to do missions, that we needed a way to stay connected. And we started a little YouTube channel / podcast. And we started that back December 21st of 3 and some change. So 1,235 days ago to this recording. And we just hit some really big benchmarks. And we just love our community, hanging out with people and doing ministry online with some people by pop culture, talking top 4 and ranking sports, movies and TV, video games, music, and nostalgia. And I missed one, right? Yes, I missed one.
Didn't you guys do a series where you ranks like food also?
Yes, food. There's the other one.
So we rank, we do 2 months of each one of those, right, and have guests on, usually within the sphere of what we're doing. We try and bring a creator from that space or a good friend in ministry or our family. And it's worked out really good. And we've seen a lot of fruit by going to conventions and things and hanging out with people and just kind of doing some of the things that you guys do, because we always mention this on the show that you guys are our inspiration. So we appreciate it.
Oh man, love you guys. We appreciate you guys too. So I'm excited to have you guys on. You guys are a lot of fun, and I have had the pleasure of meeting the both of you guys at various times, although sometimes I get Andy confused with another guy named Ben sometimes, but that's another conversation. I actually get to hang out with you next week, actually.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Lead conference, awesome. Can't wait.
Heck yeah, we may try to do some special recordings with for them for the Rushmore show while we're there.
Yes,
we'll see what we can make happen. Lead conference is always a wild time. So that being said, we've been talking about anime, and we've listed our top 4 shoujo animes, our top 4 shonen, and our top 4 Saturday morning cartoon style. And today we're going to just talk about just our favorite animes, period. But I just got to know, guys, what's your experience with anime? Do you guys like anime? Did you not like it? Have I kidnapped you and you hate anime secretly?
Okay.
Because there's an injection button for that too.
No.
So Andy, you go first.
Yeah. So let me start by saying this. It's not that I don't like anime. I do. I am not super well versed in it in the sense of like, this wasn't everything I was about. So like kind of preparing for the show, I'm looking through this list and I'm like, what are the 4 that I know that I could actually kind of talk about? And there are some for sure that are in there. But most of mine, and we'll get to them in a little bit, were the TV show kind of feel of it, because Kirk and I talk about it all the time. One of the greatest nostalgic feelings, and you just mentioned it, was Saturday morning cartoons. That bowl of cereal right in front of the TV. It doesn't, I mean, anime or not, whatever it is you are watching, we can't recapture that. It's kind of what we try to do in our show, but we fail miserably at it because, we'll never get that feeling again. But yeah, so for me personally, it was, there was like 3 immediately that I jumped to, and I was like, these are etched in stone. They're there. They're in the Rushmore, right? There you go.
Right.
And then that 4th one was kind of a challenge for me. But when I found it, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is for sure it. But yeah, I like anime. I wouldn't say it was my go-to, but it has been a lot of fun to do kind of some jogging of memory, and actually just paid YouTube some money to rent one of them to watch it the other day. So you're welcome, YouTube. You now have $4.99 from me. But anyway, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How about you, Kirk?
Yeah, so I'm a little older, and that doesn't mean anything. Anime has been around forever, but anime was different when I was a kid. So it was really funny kind of going down memory lane. I was like, man, how did I even learn about this in the 80s? Because here's the thing, like I remember getting to the 90s. So I'm more of an 80s kid. When I remember getting to the 90s and talking about certain movies or TV shows, but never really even seeing them. Right. It was kind of like an urban legend. Oh, you've heard of that? I can't believe you know that. It's pretty this. And then in the 90s, things just kind of blew up on, after school and before, Saturday morning, with actual Saturday morning cartoons being either anime or some kind of grind off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was thinking to go back to what I wanted to do, I was thinking of a lot of the ones that I wanted from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, as I was walking down memory lane, I was like, man, I remember talking about this with my friends, but I don't think I ever actually watched this. Right? I mean, we talked about it. I know like a video game came out, or you saw it in a magazine or whatever, but like the internet really didn't exist like that then, where you could just randomly Google it or AI it or whatever.
Right.
So when I was building my list, there is absolutely a number one, and Andy could probably have pegged it a week ago when we started talking. Then the other 3 was kind of a pile of about 15 or so. And I picked some that were probably either most nostalgic to me then, or some that are really important to me even today.
Nice.
And so anime is not a huge thing in my sphere, but it is in my kids.
Right.
And I'm a teacher and a youth pastor, so there's a lot of this that comes around that we talk a lot with kids.
Right.
So I'm kind of leaning on some of that today, and but I'm not well versed in the deep cuts. I look when I pulled up. Oh, and last thing, I realized that some of the anime that I liked was BC, and I probably shouldn't be not even talking about it, but like, dang, I watched that. I went and I reviewed a few of these, and I was watching them with my kid, and I was like, nope, we got to turn this one off. I can't remember that happening, but yeah, and I was like, sorry, man. Look, when I was young, we didn't have that, but there, yeah. So I took some of those off my list just because my own personal like, dang, I shouldn't have probably even liked that.
Right.
So there goes some of how I was thinking tonight.
I dig it. All All right, guys. Well, let's jump into it. We're gonna give our top 4, and some of these are kind of no particular order. But let's jump into it with let's do Kirk, since you're the last one to talk. What's your number 4? Or what does you guys call it? Because you rank it.
So on our show, we call our number 4 Rosie for Roosevelt.
Right.
And if you've been around our show, it's ranked on the Rushmore mountain. So there's 4 presidents, and we kind of arbitrarily rank them the way we thought they were important in U.S. history. And I mean, it's really subjective. So we felt Roosevelt probably did the least of the 4 guys on the mountain. So we call him Rosie.
All right.
So my Rosie is actually probably, to me, the newest influential to me, but it's one of the oldest on the list. Longest running ever. I'm going with the pirate fantasy of One Piece, man.
Dude.
I've had a lot of fun with this over the last probably 4 or 5 years, being in ministry, my kids and whatnot, but more so even now that I teach elementary school, my kids at school, we give them nicknames, and I can't tell you, every class somebody asks to be Monkey, and I tell them, you cannot be Monkey as your nickname. Your parents will get me fired. You can be Monkey D. Luffy. You can be Luffy. You can be Zorro. I am not calling you Monkey as your name at my school. We won't do that. But yeah, they always pick a name. And honestly, the resurgence of the new live action on Netflix really got me and my son into it. And so we kind of jumped back in and started going, like, just trogging through what's going on. I mean, they had over 1,000 on the comic book. It's like the longest running by the same guy ever, right?
It's still
and then
going.
now there's like 1,000 episodes in the show, but essentially we started that, and I don't know, we're not even close to being done. I mean, we're not even close to even a fingernail of it. But every once in a while, we'll just stop and go and watch a few, and then sometimes I have to fast forward a little bit and whatever. But we've enjoyed it a lot. So Monkey D, well, I say Monkey D. Luffy. One Piece is what I'm going to go with, my first one, just because of all the things that it's kind of connected me with my son, and it's just such a great show.
Yeah.
I mean, like long-standing. Like, there's so much history from it.
Definitely.
So One Piece is currently up to 1,100 episodes.
Whew. I haven't watched this at all, but all I've ever heard is if you don't have 17 years to catch up to it, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. I mean, I exaggerate that, but yeah, how do you, if somebody were to get into this now, like me, not having seen any of it, how do I realistically watch?
Honestly, I would just go watch the 7-part Netflix show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
the Netflix live action did a really good job of summing up the first season. And I know this because Dallas and I watched a few episodes of the first season of One Piece to prep for the show, kind of get an idea of what was happening. And then when we finished the show, the live action show, we went, okay, well, let's pick back up. And we skipped like almost 20 episodes to get to where they left off.
Right.
So essentially, Andy, it has a lot of themes that run along in my book, honestly. And I think you would enjoy this.
I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy it. I think I would. The thing is like, for me, you know, I even am so far behind on the Marvel movies, the MCU stuff, that I feel like it's unachievable with what, you know, the amount of hours I'd have to put in. This is like exponential.
You would have to stop watching Office.
Well, see, and that's the problem, because when I'm done watching The Office, I just go back to Parks and Rec, and that's just the cycle that I'm in. So now if they make an anime,
problem. Well, here's you have a problem. We need this action intervention. That's why we have you here.
Oh, dang it. You guys, how do I get off this ship? How do I get off of here? Do I press the red button? Does it get me out of here?
No. Don't press. That is not salsa. Do not press that.
Eject.
Now, I will say this. It is not the longest running anime. The longest one is called Saizei-san, and it's been running since 1969.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
It's
So I think it has
2,771 episodes.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's been going on for 25, almost 30 years. I was looking some up the stats, but I know that it's the longest running comic book next to Superman. And
One Piece
from the same author. From the same author.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I didn't even realize that. But yeah, it is what it is.
It's crazy, man. That's cool though. All right. Well, One Piece is a great start. That's a big start right there. Andy, what's your number 4? What's your Rosie?
Yeah, so Rosie for me, this was the one that I was like, when I found it, my eyes lit up and I was like, oh yeah, why did I forget that this is still an anime? It's actually the oldest one that's going to be on my list. And the reason I picked this is I remember watching Cartoon Network with my dad in the early 2000s. Now, this was reruns of reruns of reruns. So this show is 1967 in Japan, okay? And it's probably one of the more iconic ones. And I'm going with that good old Mach 5, give me Speed Racer.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
I used to watch these reruns with my dad and just like so many core memories of like, oh, what are you doing? Like talking so fast, like everything like just is beautiful about it. The animation's really cool, but you know, Racer X and that whole like who's his identity, what's all this stuff. But just the music and like the sounds and the speaking in this, and again capturing that nostalgia of sitting on the couch, my dad watching it with me. Now my dad grew up, 60s, so he's watching this as a kid. And and then me being able to watch that with him too, just a lot of core memory fun. So yeah, I was like, yeah, Speed Racer, you're definitely going to be mentioned on this list today. They've had a lot of like iterations, I think, since the original stuff. They've had like remakes of it and things like that. I think they even had like a movie.
They did
relatively not that long ago. I mean, like
2008.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. So there you go. I didn't see the movie. I don't know if 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not bad. I mean, if you're going to score in the 40s on Rotten Tomatoes, depending on if it's the critics or whatever. Anyway, yeah, Speed Racer, man, and also the other thing is that I as a kid, man, playing with Hot Wheels and race cars, and just again, this is 100% just nostalgia core memory pick. I loved this. I remember my brother and I would play with our Hot Wheels and try to talk like them, like as fast as they talk. And oh no, what are you doing? I can't even like do it now. Like I can't even think of what I'm saying. But like, can you imagine like two of the whitest kids trying to talk in this accent as fast as you can? Which is why probably the Rushmore show is therapy to me, because I got picked on a lot as a kid, because I'm probably doing this. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go Speed Racer, man.
Go Speed Racer, go!
Speed Racer.
That is so good, man. I love it. That is one of those ones I forget that I watched as a kid. Like like I remember like sitting in like the living room of my parents' apartment and it being on TV. That might have been one of my earliest ones I've ever seen. That along with we'll get it. Just gets on y'all's list. Baby Love, what is your Rosie?
I refuse to rank. So I'm just going to tell you the one that I have in 4th place.
Okay.
Because I love them all. So Death Note.
Yeah.
It's so good. You can't remake it though, because, and we've talked about this before when we reviewed that atrocity of a Netflix movie. But because it was so locked in a time of not having location data, not have everybody having cell phones, not the internet being everywhere. It is such a good anime, but it's so dark.
Yeah.
That you have to be careful watching it, because it can get depressing really quick.
Yeah. Death Note is definitely one of those ones that it grabs your attention real quickly. And it's the mystery and the awe of it. The way that and the opening episodes, it's like the mental chess taking place between the protagonist and the antagonist.
Now, at the last, like, I don't know, 10 episodes, 15 episodes, you could just do it without. Turn it off. Don't worry about it. But, and you'll know if you're watching it, when you get to that point, you'll be like, oh, this is what Celeste was talking about.
Yeah. What were you about to say, Kirk?
So I mean, I'm familiar with Death Note for sure. I was, when the Netflix show came out, I knew there was a bit of a buzz, like, or when it was about to come out. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this. And I had that on my radar, like, oh, okay, I'll watch this. And then I remember like seeing people post like it was terrible, it doesn't do justice or whatever. So I backed off and never even really ended up. I think I may have caught it, like, you know, sometimes when you're watching something will come on after, and I was like, oh, this is that Death Note show. And I didn't really even watch it, but I have read up on it. It's one of those things that you kind of look on YouTube, and I was like, man, this is kind of a very chilling, kind of cool story. I kind of like the whole trope that it does.
It's good for, like, it's very heady. Like, this is not an anime to watch when you're tired or when you're not fully into it, because you will miss
Andy,
things.
That's never.
Yeah, so I'm immediately out if I have to think.
Well, but it also
Andy mentions that on our show.
It also catches your attention, but it is a very, because it's dealing with who should live and who should die.
Yeah,
right.
I will say what caught my attention was I was just Googling it because I thought I had seen this. How do you pronounce the character? Ryuk was played by Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
is that right?
Tracks.
Okay.
I will say
cool with me.
That was the best part of the show, was just that.
Ryuk was the best part of the show and the best part of the terrible movie.
Okay.
So, but yeah, now there was a Japanese movie. It was a 2-part movie, and it was really well done.
We've only watched part 1.
We did. It did a little better job of catching the vibes of the show, and it stars a kid named Tatsuya Fujiwara, who he's been in a lot of really interesting films over the years, including there's one that has stood out for years. That like it was like always like whispered about and passed around when I was in high school. It was a Battle Royale, which is actually the movie that homegirl that did Hunger Games plagiarized. So yeah,
there you go. Also,
Hunger Games, but not for kids.
I was looking
in Death. The bad guy is just creepy looking in this movie. It's absolutely weird.
Yes,
I prefer him in the cartoon much.
But who's the bad guy?
Well, I mean the crazy demon looking thing.
Oh, the Shinigami.
Yeah.
Are we all the bad guys? Is that what it's in our head? Is society the bad guy? I did look. There's 37 episodes. That's doable, at least what it says on here. So that's achievable.
Yeah. It is,
and you only need to get to about 22. So
it legitimately, though, I will warn you, it is very dark. So you kind of have to pace yourself.
It's one of those like thrillers, and so it's like there's a lot taking place.
It's like watching what was that movie? 7. Was that the one where they were tracking the guy that was killing people for the 7 deadly sins?
Yeah, that's a cool show.
It's not. It doesn't have the same vibe, but it has the same. You have to watch your heart when you watch it because it is so bleak and heavy. Yeah. So like it took us quite a while to get through those 37 episodes, just because at one point we both were like, "Can we watch something cute and happy?"
Yeah,
something with some color to it.
so to that point, and I don't want to take too much time on this, but we're all pastors, all believers here,
right?
How do you balance? I mean, I know how I do, so just interested to get your point of view on it. How do you balance, like, when you discernment of watching something that is that heavy, maybe that dark, has kind of the demonic side to things, obviously, to it, knowing, hey, I'm a believer in Christ too. So, like, maybe for somebody who may be struggling with that, what advice would you give somebody to that point?
For me, it was a matter of Sorry, had to burp. For me, it was a matter of watching myself. I have a tendency to take on attitudes of media that I have partaken in. And so I have to keep a close eye on myself. And we balanced it out. The anime itself did not have, like, it had very little fan service. I don't remember a ton of cussing. And there really wasn't anything demonic about it, except for the fact that Ryuk's a death god.
Right.
He's not. So if you take it into Japanese lore rather than looking at it as truth, which it's not, then it balanced out for me. But Dallas and I have a rule of, if it affects our faith, if we start seeing what's coming out being ungodly, then we stop.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good the story is. Doesn't matter how much we're into it.
Yeah.
Because God is more important.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of what we tell people is like, it boils down to knowing yourself, but knowing, what's happening on the inside, your walk with God. And everyone has their own stuff that they can and can't handle. There are people that can really handle being in one environment, but they can't handle being in another environment. And that's that way with any kind of content, any kind of thing you take in. There's just certain things that, there are spaces that I can be in that I can handle that some other people can't. And then there are some things that I have to check out on. I just cannot rock and roll. I can do some scary stuff, some horror stuff, but then I got some friends that they're getting some stuff. I'm like, bro, I can't handle. Like, I am just, there's something on the inside of me that just goes, nope, check out now. And so I do. I can't do those type of things. And it's a matter of knowing the boundaries. And the Bible talks about working out your own salvation in fear and trembling. And that means understanding like what's taking place on the inside, to understanding what's who you are in Christ, obviously your identity, and then setting up boundaries and setting up what God has for you. Kind of a much lower number. When I first got saved back in '99, music was a big deal to me. I mean, it was huge. I listened to music all the time, and God started convicting me. And so I was like 16 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna stop listening to secular music altogether, and I'm only gonna listen to Christian music. And it's funny. I went down to a Christian bookstore down the street, and I got POD Fundamentals of Southtown.
Let's go.
You're not gonna like the next line I say.
Oh, never mind.
I read the lyrics books because that was my thing. That's how I learned to read. Actually, was looking at the books, the lyric books that come in your CDs, and also the cassette tapes, because we had cassette tapes back then.
Yeah,
and that's how I learned to read. So I was reading it, and I legitimately went, I can't see Jesus in this where I was at the time. So I went back to the bookstore, and instead I got Last Street Preacher by T-Bone.
Okay.
And that started me on my road of just nothing but Christian music. And I didn't listen to secular music probably for 20 some odd years. Just nothing but Christian music is all I listened to. I'd listen to some instrumentals every so often, some jazz or something like that. But that was it. But it's because for me, the music, because I'm a lyric person. It's not just it's not just the beat. For me, it was like, man, the lyrics. I need to know what's being said. It was affecting my spirit.
Right. No,
so
I get that.
Like, I'm gonna shift gears. And so with that, with all forms of media, anything you do, you need to know what you can and can't handle. And I'd have friends that make fun of me. They'd be like listening to whatever was popular today. I'm like, I have no idea what we're talking about. But I have the Switchfoot CD. You want to check this out? And so they're like, what is that? I was like, how about Rick Pino? I don't know. But so that's just kind of where I was at with things. And with anything we take in, know yourself. What can you not handle?
Yeah.
And if the Lord says, don't do this for you, by gosh in heaven, you better not. Because if you do, then that becomes sin, regardless of what's taking place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Cool.
Good question.
That's good.
So, okay, Dallas, what's your number 4?
My number 4, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip. I'm going to give in this top half of the show stuff that they have heard me talk about plenty of times, and then the audience will hear things I don't talk about on the back end. So my number 4 is the Gundam franchise as a whole.
No, really?
No, really. So much so I have a whole podcast. Check out the Gundam Watch where we talk about Gundam. I have so much love for this series. When I was it started out with Gundam Wing with Toonami, and
yes, come on,
it hit. My sister and I, we were at the time we were pseudo homeless. We were living with my aunt and uncle, and we come home from school, and they had Toonami, and we watched Sailor Moon. Well, actually, first it was Reboot, followed up by Dragon Ball Z, then Gundam Wing, and Sailor Moon. And we'd watch those four right at four. And it became a thing for Demar and I to watch Gundam together. And so it was just a lot of fun. And I've watched so many Gundam series since then. And it's just, every series is so unique, so different, but also some of them also their universes kind of combine in some fashion depending on what series you're watching, and it's fascinating to see take place. I really love watching the alternate histories where they take the main timeline and they do something different with it, completely like an alternate universe, and that's really fun to see take place. And just seeing the interactions between people, it's every series there's the fundamental aspect of this is war, and these are people who are having to deal with it in some fashion, and how the muddiness of war taking place. So that's my Rosie, if you will.
So can I jump in? And so I had on my original list, I had Robotech.
Woo, Robotech!
And when I went and looked, that the Robotech I liked was the combination of all of the Japanese that was Americanized. So then I was like, well, I'm not going to say this because it's American. So I was like, maybe I liked some of the other ones. And I went back and I was like, man, I remember kids talking about this, but I didn't watch any of this. That was one of the ones that I was like, I never watched, what is it, Destination Fortress Macross or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't watch any of that stuff. But when I think of Gundam, like the time when I was growing up, it Robotech and Gundam and all of those major robot things, they were just so cool to like.
Oh yeah.
And I loved Robotech. I had the toys. I never actually got into actual Gundam, but I love following your show. Every once in a while I'll catch in and I'll just be like, seeing what you guys are chatting about. Because I just understand being passionate about something like that. And anyways, that's why that was going to be my number 4, and I ended up taking it off. But I knew you were going to say Gundam today. I said I'll be able to mention it a little bit.
I'm to tell you this: I would have given you Gundam or not Gundam, Robotech. That was actually almost on my list. Was Robotech. I actually have the entire Robotech series in the other room on DVD.
So as a kid, I had the red with the red and white spaceship with the main character, and then my friend had the freighter or whatever, the big deal. So, anyways, I really liked it, but I like Gundam too. I just don't have a lot more history with that. So, but they kind of, to me, it's very similar genres of.
Yeah, it's what you call real robot genre. Beforehand, you had the magical robot, which was I can't remember the names of them right now, but where like it was like a sentient robot. Voltron bridges that kind of like real robot, magical robot vibe to it. I don't know if you remember Voltron from that time. Just out of curiosity, how old are you, Kirk?
46.
46. Okay, so you're just like a few years older than me.
So I was born in 78. Right. So 80s was my jam.
That was it.
80s was me growing up. 90s was my high school.
Right. I got you. So you would remember Voltron pretty clearly then.
Absolutely.
And so Voltron was also, that was kind of that bridger of magical robot with real robot. And so, but yeah, I can definitely see how you got the vibes of Robotech and that together. So cool beans. All right. Well, let's keep this party rolling. All right, so what's the third mountain? I got Rosie, then.
So Thomas Jefferson or TJ Jazzy Jeff.
All right. What's your TJ Jazz?
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Yeah, we came up with a fun name. So, are we stay in the same order?
Let's break it up. Let's go Andy first.
Okay.
Oh, yes. We should do this on our show. We should change up. No. So my next 3, Kirk probably has them written down for me. There's just no doubt that these are my 3 here. It's just I think you have all 3. And if you don't have one of them, it's this one. And when I say it, you're like, well, yeah, of course. Because it's the 3 animes I've talked about on our show, right? These are the 3 that I mentioned before were etched in stone from the get-go, right? Like you guys said, top 4 anime. I already had 75% of my list. So this is the one that I actually gave YouTube money for this week. My wife introduced me to this kind of around when we first started dating. And she's not really a big anime person either, but for whatever reason loves this movie. It's an absolutely beautiful movie. I would rank it up there in some of my top favorite movies of all time. Let alone anime. Beautiful, 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 beautiful animation. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful storytelling. It's no doubt I got to go Spirited Away. Spirited Away is just, I mean, it's perfect. I can't find something wrong with this movie other than maybe it's long. Like that's like my kids watched it with me this week and actually sat through a 2+ hour movie because it was so good. Which for a Gen Alpha kid to sit through a 2-hour movie is saying something. But yeah, man, it's beautiful. The great themes throughout the whole movie. You know, you kind of talk about consumerism and greed and identity. And I mean, there's just so many things like so Kirk and I do that, and you do this too, right? With Geek Devotions, like where we look at these things and we're like, what are some spiritual lessons or things? Like I could preach almost a year long, just pull some things from this movie because there's a lot of deep themes. But yeah, I mean, like we said, the animation, we did an episode with a friend of all of ours over at the Cellcast. We did it at the end of last year. We did animated food. And I put all of the food from Spirited Away is a valid answer. I want to eat that food. You know what I mean? Like the bathhouse. You could have
just said all food in every Miyazaki movie.
Well, yeah, there's that too. Yeah. So, but I didn't watch a lot of his others. There are some other ones that I've certainly watched for sure. But my favorite personally is Spirited Away. I just love all of the different styles of the characters in it. So like the evil lady, I forget the names, but the lady, you know, she's got this giant head with this pimple or something that's in the middle.
Witch of the Waste, or is that no? That's not Witch of the Waste.
Witch of the Waste is Howls.
Right. I know who you're talking about though.
She's got a twin sister. Anyway, so it's like this whole like we don't ever explain why there's a giant baby. Why is there a giant baby that becomes a mouse? It's so awesome.
Her name is Yubaba.
Yubaba, that's it. I literally just watched it. I should remember that. But yeah, I love all of that. Again, the food, the stuff, the story throughout the whole thing, the voices. And actually, I was listening to it, and I picked up on something that I haven't picked up on before. But the voice of, again, you're going to have to help me out with the character name.
Yubaba.
Well, not her, but the voice of this other lady who's in that, who works at the bathhouse, is Megara from Hercules. It's the same voice. I picked up on that, and I was like, that sounds just like it. So I go on these like little deep dives when I watch stuff like, what movie was this person in? Half the movie's gone and whatever. Anyway, and I found out it was her too. But yeah, I mean, there's the weird bathhouse guy that like is a spider, but also a guy like he's got 6 arms, like the soot that's walking. So many cool things in this movie, dude. It's beautiful.
You just remind him, like, so the lady like that, she turns into a bird.
Yeah.
Her name is Yubaba. Is she supposed to be Yagi Baba?
Do you mean I can't think of how to say it appropriately.
The Russian thing.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Is that Yagi Baba?
It's said slightly differently.
Right. You know what I'm saying though. What is she supposed to be? Because it was like a witch that turns into a bird.
Yaga Baba.
Yaga Baba.
That's how I'm like, you're almost there, but you're just wrong. I think she is a version of Yaga Baba.
That's crazy. That's the thing about Miyazaki films is he pulls from so many cultures.
So
many lores to construct these stories, to capture everybody's attention.
I'm looking at pictures of Yaga Baba and Baba Yaga.
Oh yes,
yeah,
Baba Yaga. That's right.
Looks very much like it's a witch, right? Oh, look, I pulled it up, and they have a picture of Yubaba on here. Yeah, so I mean, that's
apparently everybody but us knew.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
I was just thinking mole. Hey, so you threw me off in the very beginning. You mentioned series, so I was thinking series.
This is my one that's not a series. Yeah.
When you said movie, I was like, oh, Spirited Away, because we've talked about it. Yeah,
that's fair.
This is a great one. I actually tried to do several of his movies, and a couple of them I hadn't seen. Actually watching the full film, but these, when I had mentioned before, I think in the pre-show, Dallas and Celeste, I had mentioned how we had been watching a few movies, and several of them are these movies. So Spirited Away and whatever. And I attempted to put some. If we had some honorable mentions, most of these would all be on that.
Right.
For me.
Love it. I think my first Miyazaki film I ever watched was actually Princess Mononoke.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
That
it
would have
was
been the one that I had on my list if I picked any. That was the first one I saw too.
Yeah, Princess Mononoke, and then Spirited Away was the second one I watched.
Princess Mononoke is my example when people say that anime is for kids.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because it doesn't cross any lines, but
with
it's
the worms on the face and all that was pretty creepy.
Oh man. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right. Well, Andy, what is your TJ Jazzy Jeff?
Andy
Kirk.
Because we switched.
Well, mine is let me start over from the top. All right. So my wife introduced. No, go ahead.
Clicks. Hey, so on our show we have something called a Rushmore, and that means we match. And I can't believe you pulled out the Speed Racer. The Speed Racer was on mine.
No way.
And I'm going Speed Racer, so that's why I didn't really talk much for yours. But definitely Speed Racer. I remember binging this when it was on MTV or VH1, one of the music channels. It was on late night all the time, and I would watch a ton of Speed Racer. And I remember my parents like, why are you watching this? It's so weird. It was like hyper colored. You mentioned the voices. He was riding around with a chimpanzee, and like it just didn't really fit Racer X, but it was always but I loved the music. I remember as a kid having like techno versions of the music, and I really enjoyed Speed Racer. And here's the thing: when I watched Speed Racer, I remember kind of talking to friends and being like, what do you like so much about it? I was like, it's so cool to see like this cartoon from another place.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not from here. And now it's like it's not a big deal. But then it was a real big deal to kind of see something like Speed Racer. And it's been around since the 60s, which is crazy. So I didn't enjoy the movie, to be honest, which most people don't whenever there's an adaptation of some sort like that. But I didn't really enjoy it. I was hoping for better, but man, this is one of those ones I would love to just kind of sit back and watch some syndication and just kind of popcorn it and go back in nostalgic times.
Word.
But Speed Racer it was definitely on my list, and it was my top three. Very much like Andy, were almost immovable. And this was when I heard this was one of the ones that popped in my head immediately.
Nice.
I just like the sound when he gets like shocked or surprised, like oh, like it's just like this, like it's like this over the top. Like, why are we doing that for so long?
Oh man, that show was wild.
And the color of the background when they're racing, the fact that it's not like just like scenery, but it's like just colors. And
that's what I was saying. So it was like Rainbow Road, like everything.
It was. Oh my gosh, that was like literally like some of my core memories of watching that, and I remember going. That show was when I first realized that the concept of anime using or any animation repeating cells.
Yeah.
Just to fill time.
That too, like just because the cars just kept like moving back and forth in different backgrounds.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's great. That's awesome.
I was kind of looking it up. So yeah, it says it here that it was on MTV in 1993. So that's when I watched it. It was in 93. And it rolled in that. So I would have been 14-ish when I started watching Speedball. So
that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
I love it. Love it. All right, baby love, what is your Jazzy Jeff?
Okay. Our listeners won't be terribly surprised to hear this one on my list, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, yes.
I love that show. It's so good. So it deals with so much stuff. What does it cost for a life?
Mm-hmm.
Which
sacrifice and everything else.
Sacrifice, trying to make things right when you mess up.
Mm-hmm.
So the just general trauma that comes from one episode. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So you said Brotherhood, right?
Yes.
Now, educate me, because I've wanted to watch this show. I've heard so many great things about it. Matter of fact, I was looking online even as early as today, just being like, hey, what are some top animes from the the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, kind of do the 2010s and whatever. And Full Metal Alchemist was on a ton of lists.
Mm-hmm.
It's widely considered really good.
It is.
There are a bunch of different versions, right? So what if I was to start, where would I start?
So there is Full Metal Alchemist, and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And what happened with Brotherhood is they took the story. Did they clean up the art, Dallas?
I don't know. I've never actually seen the original Alchemist. I know that.
I just thought you might know, because you have knowledge like that in your head. But
I feel like they did clean it up, just from what I've seen.
They did clean up the stories a little bit and made it a little bit more succinct to make it easier to follow and easier to get through. And then they also changed the ending.
Mm-hmm.
So you have an alternate ending. So technically you could watch both and be fine. I liked watching Brotherhood. I haven't seen the first one, but I liked watching Brotherhood because my understanding of the way that the story was running, it got really confusing, and this is a really complex story, so it would be easy to get confused.
Mm. It was
Can I just add something?
Yeah.
So I just pulled it up, the Brotherhood one.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it's not very often. We've done this show, Andy, we were on like episode 170 or something of the Rushmore show. And we've done a lot of movies and TV. We always kind of look them up. It's not very often that you have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 9.1 on IMDb.
It's so
and
good.
97% love the storyline and the reviews.
That's
a pretty high accord.
It is so good. And I don't know if you had watched it before, Dallas, but we got into it when Netflix did a live action remake.
So that's when I wanted to kind of jump into it, and I didn't. I mean, it's Netflix is so good about kind of sparking my interest, and I put it in a can of like, let's watch that later, and then I never come back.
That's fair. We watched like the first half of the first episode, and we both were like, we feel like we're missing some context here. So, because the live action does rush things.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's just watch the anime, and went and watched it over like 2 months.
Yeah.
Watching.
I would go to her job every day for lunch, and we would set this little table in the in the
old
X-ray room. We'd watch Brotherhood while we ate lunch,
and then we'd watch an episode in the evenings.
Mm-hmm. It was really a great show, and it's one of those ones that just about anybody who's interested in anime, it's a great one to jump onto and check out.
Yeah, nice. 64 episodes. That's doable.
Yeah. Super doable.
Yeah, but you just keep adding on things. I mean, I already had 1,200 episodes almost of One Piece I got to get into.
Okay. No. Nobody expects you to finish One Piece.
I expect myself to. No, I'm just.
You got to stop watching The Office.
It won't happen. So there it is. But they make an anime of The Office.
1,400 of The
Yeah,
Office.
that's true. I have.
Oh my gosh! All right. So my number 3, my Jazzy Jeff, is one. I'm actually reading through the manga series right now, and it's one that Celeste and I started just on a whim. And
No. We started it after. If is it what I'm thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, we started it after we talked to one of the voice actors. We were like,
"Oh yeah, you're right."
Shot.
You did. That's right. And it's called Assassination Classroom. And this anime has so many emotions, and it is so good. There are actual like teaching professionals who are like, we should take some of these guys' principles and use it in classrooms. And what it boils down to is you have the opening episode. It's not gonna spoil anything. Half the moon's destroyed, and there's this yellow tentacle creature who's like, I will kill the world in 1 year, unless you can assassinate me. And here's the deal: I will teach the junior hires in what's called Class E to kill me. So he becomes their teacher, and they call him Koro Sensei. And he is so focused on, he's teaching them not just how to be good assassins, but how to be good people. Like he's teaching them life skills. He's teaching them to be better at mathematics and at this the aspect of school. And what it is Class E in Japan is your lowest ranked class as a whole. And the school that he's at that he's teaching at, the principal has created this caste system within the school, and so he humiliates Class E on purpose to help bolster up the pride and the mindset of everyone else. And what Koro Sensei is doing is that he is rebuilding the confidence and the just the mental stability of these kids to help them be okay, to realize they're not less than, to help them realize that they're not just throwaways that nobody should ever care about, but they can have something to offer that's greater. And it's hard, it's fun, it's crazy to watch, and at the same time it's heartbreaking towards the end, and like just crazy emotions, because they're like, these kids grow to genuinely love Koro Sensei, but they know that they still have to kill him in 1 year or within the next year. And the whole process, like there was this whole thing where they had a midterm exam they had to do, and he taught them, like he taught all of them 101 at the same time because he moved so fast. And he's so like
Mach 5. So they're like, he's like, okay, kids, time for lunch. And he leaves Japan and goes to California to get food and then makes it back.
It says here that he can move at Mach 20.
Yeah, Mach 20, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Holy
so I'm he's so fast.
He's just booking it. So at Mach 20, he's teaching every kid individually, private tutoring them in the subject they have. And then when they go to take the test, it takes the view of the test form. It's almost like they're going into actual battle with these monsters. So like the kids like swinging a sledgehammer at this giant like ELA monster.
Like that's how they're visualizing it. It's so good.
And again, it's just all these like life lessons that he's teaching these kids and the people as he goes through. It's a really fascinating show.
So I had never heard of this show. I think, Dallas, you put a short out about, I don't know, a month or two ago. I don't remember. And it was some short that you showed this, that you liked it, or what you were watching, or I don't remember what exactly it was. And I was like, man, that's interesting. It's a big yellow, happy, smiley face.
I'll put a quote.
Oh, the quote, yeah.
And I was like, what is going on with this thing? And so I kind of looked it up and I was like, oh, that seems similar. That seems interesting, but I didn't read up what it meant. Like, assassination school. I didn't know that. That sounds like a really cool.
I will say that if you have younger kids just because it's more towards like 13, 14. Kids who know not to repeat all the words they hear.
Yeah.
But it really is good. And
it's so good.
What that post, what I've been doing is as I read each manga, I make a post with one quote from Kuro Sensei. And I'll put that out. But what I've been doing is, and this is kind of like it's the nerdiest and dumbest thing ever. But what I've been doing is I make each post the same color as the book, because every single book is a different color. Because Kuro Sensei, his colors change according to his emotions and according to what he's doing.
Oh.
At one point, one of the kids tries to poison him, and he takes the poison, and he goes, "Ooh, that tickles!" And he like turns all these like
funky
moving
colors.
He's like, "That's interesting. I haven't turned that color before." So good.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
It's definitely one I recommend.
So I'm assuming there can't be a number 2.
No, it's a one and done series.
It's got to be a one and done series. Either they win or they don't. But
Right.
It's still a one and done.
There's also a live action adaptation that Japan did, and it's pretty good. It's split up into 2 movies, and they summarize a lot in the first movie, but they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I like the animation. Looks really cool.
That's pretty clean. It's fresh animation, man. It really is clean.
Okay. Well, I think it is time for our break.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give our top 2 with the Rushmore. The Rushmore Show is the place for ranking the ultimate top 4 in sports, video games, nostalgia, movies, and so much more. Each week, Andy and Kirk spark engaging discussion and friendly debates, making the Rushmore Show your compass in the realm of pop culture rankings. Find us at youtube.com/The Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more.
And we are back. Obviously, we want you to check out Rushmore. We have them here. We've been promoting them all month. They are really cool people. We love them in person and online. So, yeah, check them out.
They sound pretty cool. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah. Check them out, Kurt. So, Dallas, why don't we start with you this time?
All right. So, my, what do we call the second one?
Link for Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln.
The Lincoln. So my link is one that I have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's one of those ones that we watched when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, when my family was going through all kinds of stuff. We were homeless and we were dealing with, divorce and figuring out life. And a buddy of mine, well, first off, Toonami kind of hinted at it, and there was a couple episodes. Oh, this is cool. And a buddy of mine had the entire series that he had imported from Japan on VHS. And so I borrowed them and watched the entire series, and it was called Tenchi Moyo. And
fun.
And there's several versions of Tenchi Moyo. There's an OAV, there's Tenchi Eternal, Tenchi in Love. There's movies, and actually the first time I watched it, I didn't know it was a series, but there was a movie that Sci-Fi Channel. Back in the day, Sci-Fi Channel would play anime movies late at night, and it was a beautiful movie. About a young boy and these group of girls that had to go back in time to save his mother because this evil alien dude went back in time to kill his mom because her whole family imprisoned him in space. So it gets really wild. It's one of those, the technical genre is called a harem anime, where there's one dude and there's a bunch of girls and they're all obsessed with him in some fashion. And it's really fascinating because you have a space pirate named Ryoko, who's like 3,000 years old, who his grandpa, who's an alien, had had imprisoned in a shrine and captured her. Then you have a ancient scientist named Washu, who is absolute batcrap crazy. And then you have a princess named Ayaka, who is just pompous and stuck up. And then you have her little sister, Sasami, who's just a sweet little girl, and then her pet, part rabbit, part cat creature named Ryoki, who turns into a spaceship. Yeah, she turns into a spaceship. And it's just absolutely crazy. And Tenchi's just like, I just want to be left alone in peace. And his dad is just like, hey, cool. And then his grandfather, he's just like, I just want you to get married and be happy. So it's a wild series. Again, there's a whole lot of there's several versions of it, ranging in just kind of themes, but also just kind of level different things. The one that was popular here was called Tenchi and Love, I believe, and it was what aired on television on Toonami back in the 90s. And it was not 90s but 2000s, but it's one of those ones that as someone who didn't have friends, having a show where you had this kid who, like, he had all these people that just surrounded him that generally cared about him and he cared about them, it captivated me in a lot of ways. So that's my number 2.
Nice. I've not heard of this one. I mean, we're going to start getting deep cuts, I know, here. Well, deep cuts for me.
I remember you talking about this on your like when you go live on like a video game night or whatever. And I remember looking this up. Yeah. Being like, man, I'm interested in this because you told somebody, whether it was Apple Dance or one of those folks that come on and hang out with us, and you were like, oh yeah, I like Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah, I know that we had a whole episode where me and Cellcast, we reviewed one of the Tenchi movies actually. And
so maybe I watched that one. But I remember kind of going down a little rabbit hole with this one day when watching you guys.
I can confidently say that the movie is probably one of my favorite things. It's probably one of my top movies I've watched and I own and watch semi-regularly, actually. I've watched it many times, and I can highly recommend it.
One of the things that I really like in a lot of animation-wise, the use of color, the fact that there's just so much color. But when I'm looking at this one specifically, the hair on these people is just... Well, first of all, you got Tenchi Masaki's just got like whatever. But then you got these people that look like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, what is happening?
Yeah,
why do I know that you're looking at Washu?
You know exactly what I'm looking at. Yeah. There's like all of these different ones on here. Just really cool, though. I mean, I do like obviously the animation is the big thing. It's anime. I mean, that's for me the visual side of it is just so cool. Yeah, except if it's in a game, I'm not playing it because I don't want to take turns. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, I mean, super cool looking.
Yeah, it was wild. Cool beans. All right. Well, since we're going that direction, Celeste, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. I've read the book it was based off of, which was based off of if Miyazaki had written a book. Like the author legitimately was like, I'm going to make a book that feels like a Miyazaki movie. And then Miyazaki was like, hey, that seems like one of our movies. Can we make it? Which is like crazy. The coolest thing ever. I legitimately I just love it so much. There's so much to it that is there. Howl dying, just like melting into a puddle because Sophie cleaned up his hair dye potions. Like, there's just so many good moments and so many good quotes.
Right.
And then I don't think I've ever actually watched it subbed because I love the voice acting so much. How can you not love Billy Crystal as Calcifer?
That was a stacked cast too, that movie.
It was.
Yeah, Billy Crystal, Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Young Christian Bale.
Before Batman.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that is a stacked cast. Emily Mortimer. Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's impressive what they did with that movie.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I watched. I've watched this one. Watched Spirited Away, Mononoke, probably maybe one or two more. But I'm always so impressed on the storytelling, the world building. I'm always so impressed with even the music and the like sound effects on how there's just like a lot of tension when there needs to be. It's so beautifully done, and that's why he's so critically acclaimed.
Oh yeah,
for the work that he does. And again, this is one of those ones. If I would have an honorable mention list, that these are some of those that I really enjoyed watching later in years, just trying to catch up and seeing, hey, what's this about? What's going on? And man, blown away. Just an amazing, like all of it together. The artistry, the animation, just brilliant.
Yeah, there's cool characters in this. I remember the Witch of the Waste, whatever. It's just weird and creepy looking, The little, what's the scarecrow thing?
Turn ahead.
Yeah. That's just a cool. There's so many just iconic stills, like images that when you pull up, when you just look it up, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was in that one. Yeah, it's so good.
And even the music, like recently, the main theme has become a trend on TikTok for like the cozy cottagecore girls to use while they're doing stuff. And I love watching it. I am not a cottagecore girly because I need air conditioning, but
Amen.
I love the music. It's just so it's just so good.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those ones where he and again, it's just Miyazaki's so talented at creating an atmosphere visually and but with the music also. Like just the way he blends everything together. You mentioned, Andy, the steals. Like you could take just about any moment in the entire movie and it would be it's a piece of art, literally just a beautiful piece of art that you could frame and do whatever you want to do with it. And then it's funny at times. But Billy Crystal going, "Oh, you're a bacon burn." That was just it's just so funny.
Sophie's being mean to me.
I love it.
I think the whole 2-day animation thing, the fact that when I was pulling up Spirited Away too, and I'm sure it's the same with all of his stuff, that every frame of his movie was hand drawn. Like just I can't fathom. I mean, how long the movies are that every frame is hand drawn. The amount of work, and craziness that goes into that.
You know who his inspiration is?
Who?
Disney.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Early Disney was Miyazaki's inspiration.
Yeah, that's so good. So good.
And I just learned this the other day. Before it became Miyazaki Films, Studio Ghibli, they had a different name. They ran a little bit differently, but they did the original Hobbit movie.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was very interested when I heard that. I was like, man, so that kind of took me, because in our little private chat, I was like, hey, I need to go and see what maybe in the fringes a little bit and see if I can, because I love the old Hobbit movie. I mean, that is a core memory as a kid,
right?
Watching that movie.
I've never seen it, and I really want to now.
Yeah, like that was my Lord of the Rings for years. Like I had never read the book. I had never read. I never even knew that there was 700 pages after that, right, or whatever it is, right? And I was just like, "This is it." That was the little snippet, and then when Lord of the Rings actually came out, I was like, "Oh wow, this is that cartoon." And I mean, yeah, I mean now I've got them on the shelf and whatnot, and kind of well versed, but yeah.
You know what? I'm googling it right now and looking at the Hobbit. Those spiders, very reminiscent. The spider of Mirkwood or whatever. Very reminiscent. Now that you say like that's him. A lot of, or the predecessor to the Studio Ghibli stuff. I could see that. I could see that in there.
Yeah, definitely.
So cool.
Oh man. Well, Kirk, you said you were looking for some fringe stuff. Did you find something for your number 2 for your link?
I didn't find fringe stuff. I'm like jumping head first in, and I'm probably going to shock at least one person on the panel. But listen, there isn't a more important anime in my world right now than one of Andy's favorite, I'm assuming, is Pokemon. And listen, I got to this party late. I actually have it behind me playing, because on our podcast, live video all the time. We always put a little snippet on what I'm calling, and I put it behind me. So this is the one that I really get to spend with my son, and he loves collecting Pokemon. He is starting to entertain some of the games and doing that. And listen, I'll tell you what got me into Pokemon, which is probably funny at 46 now, and I guess this would have been maybe 15 years ago now. Gosh, I don't even know how long it's been out, but was Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And when we started playing Pokemon Go, all of us as a family had it on our phone. We're running around the park playing. And then I was very interested in like, what are these? What's the stories behind these guys? I knew like what they were.
Right.
Like, what's the story of these monsters? What's the story of what's going on? And so me and my son have watched lots of this. I mean, especially during COVID and in the 2020 time when we were sitting at home doing a whole lot of nothing. We watched a ton of it. And now he's collecting the Mega Blocks. We've been building the Lego. And I know that has nothing to do mainly with the anime, but listen, to me, there isn't a bigger franchise that we could mention today.
Right.
Something that has globally taken over the world. You're talking about conventions and movies and TVs. I mean, there over 1,200 episodes I read today, over 8 generations, which is crazy. Like 17 or 18 movies. There's just so much lore, and it's just fun to. This is the one out of all that I'm going to mention today. One Piece was cool on the live animated to do with my son. And every time we go to Netflix, it's like, is there a new one out yet? Pokemon is a daily thing. It's a daily thing. Dad, can I get a pack of Pokemon? Can I go get the Lego? You want to watch another show? Like, it's a daily thing.
Right.
The shirts and the hats and it's just everywhere. And I'm going with that, and it's just so much influence.
I love that so much. I love the connection with your son specifically. That's a great connection. I'm an old school Pokemon fan. I was there. I was there in the beginning with red and blue.
Right. So I got blue behind me.
Let's go.
There's a little blue.
Nice. And man, Pokemon, if you're listening, just re-release red and blue. That's all we're asking. I don't care what you have to do. Just make it. I will pay for it.
That's all the people want.
People would actually buy that $500 Switch.
Oh man! Hey, so here's a question. Since it's big for you, you get one Pokemon. Which one are you getting?
Wait. So, question. Let me just to clarify this. Are we talking the original starters? Are we saying any
Pokemon whatsoever? There's 6 billion of them out there now. It materializes for you in real life. Which one are you going for?
Okay, so I'm going to just throw this out there. My son's would be Gengar.
Okay.
And probably after that would be Growth. That would probably be his top 2. I really like Lapras, and I really like Gyarados.
Nice.
Maybe Giratina.
Okay.
But I'd probably go Lapras.
I
really like the dinosaur, Aqua Dinosaur-esque type character.
Love it.
Blastoise. Which is right.
Big man Blastoise.
Maybe Blastoise. Start with Squirtle, move on up. Blastoise. Blastoise is cool.
My dude.
Andy,
all right.
Who would you go with?
You guys put me on the spot here. This is so
You're
difficult.
More Pokemon than me. I had some that I never rattled off.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I can name them. I'm just like, what would be that one is tricky. I think that just a couple I'll throw out there. I love the Gengar pick. Gengar is amazing. It's fantastic. Scyther was always a cool one to me.
Cool.
Scyther was really cool.
Right.
I always liked Raichu. I didn't think Raichu got enough love. You know, obviously we kept it at
people forget about Raichu.
Raichu is legit, man. But
justice for Raichu.
Justice for Raichu. Come on. But I think that for whatever reason, when I had the cards, my favorite looking one was Pinsir. I don't know why. Pinsir was just a really cool looking.
He's kind of like. He reminds me of those bugs we used to catch as kids, like out at the park.
Yeah,
like they're scary, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's You really can't go wrong unless you pick like Metapod or
I'll tell you who I relate to most.
Snorlax.
Snorlax.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Snorlax is my spirit Pokemon.
That's it. Oh my gosh, I love
Snorlax. Yeah, or Drowsy.
Baby Love, how about you? Who's your one Pokemon?
Or 17, like we mentioned. Who knows?
It would have to be. I'd want Gyarados, but I would probably go with Psyduck.
Psyduck.
Psyduck would stand out less.
That's fair. That's fair. So for me, it's Growlithe, man. I love Growlithe.
That's my son's second favorite. Yeah.
I like dogs, and he's just nothing more than the fire puppy. It's awesome.
Oh, but Abracadabra and Alakazam.
Oh man, he's correct me that I call his Growlithe stuffed animal Growth. And he's like, Dad, it's Growlithe. Please stop. So now it's kind of a going thing.
Right.
So he's got Gengar, he's got Growlithe. And we picked him up at these conventions, man. And that's one of those things, man. Just kind of hanging out, learning it, helping him collect the cards.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a fun thing, man. And,
I love it.
We got some friends, actually, that are Poketubers that come on our show. Shout out to Pokey Trev. Go check him out.
Cool, man. Dig it. All right, cool beans. All right, so has everybody given their number 2?
Nope, not me.
Not you. Okay, Andy.
All right. Well, I'm going with a bunch of heroes based around vegetables. No, I'm not talking about Veggie Tales. Dragon Ball Z.
My dude.
Dragon Ball Z. I couldn't listen. When we're talking Saturday morning, whatever, you mentioned it, Toonami. When Toonami's out, dude, as a 10, 11-year-old boy, who didn't have Super Saiyan fights with their friend? I mean, who wasn't Spirit Bob? Like, who wasn't doing that? Action figures, everything that came along with it. I was all about Dragon Ball Z. I used to get annoyed at how long it took for, like, they had all these filler episodes. Right. It was like, dude, you're filling up a spirit bomb for like 4 episodes in a row. When's this going to happen?
5 minutes, 6 episodes later.
Yeah, and then it's like the recap. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, they just like did the whole episode again. Like, I know what happened. Anyway, but even with all of that, the most cool characters, the design of everything was just super fun. I was always a Trunks guy. I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know why. I was a Trunks guy. I think
the sword.
It's that. It's the hair was totally different than everybody else. But I was Trunks, and then I was Vegeta. Believe it or not, was the other guy. I was kind of the anti-hero type guy. He was good, but I remember watching this with my buddy, and it was one of those things where like he would like destroy his computer by illegally downloading all these like foreign, back in like LimeWire or whatever.
I understood you.
And he would download these things. It was like the Japanese version, but then it would be like a Godsmack song over a Super Saiyan battle, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever!" Like I remember
anime music videos.
Yeah. It was like Moon Baby to Vegeta as a ape or whatever. But dude, this show is just etched in my memory. Now I know there's been other ones, the GTs, just Dragon Ball. There's all these different ones, and there's ones where maybe it's GT. I forget which one exactly, or Turbo, something, whatever it is, where it's like they speed up some of those filler. They kind of cut some of that stuff out. But dude,
it's Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Yeah,
Kai. Yeah, there you go. The video games that come from this and everything too. I mean, just so many amazing things. Piccolo was the dude, but I remember like sitting through the entire Buu saga, and then Majin Buu comes out, and you're like, "What the heck is happening here? When is this going to end?" And it never ends. It never ends. But it's so good. I mean, Frieza might be one of the coolest villains of all time. Yeah, there's just, it's so good. It's so good. I remember having looking up on eBay action figures of the Japanese Broly and all these different ones and stuff, and I want to get this. It never happened, but I love Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z. If you were a kid in the 90s, 2000s, and you didn't have any appreciation of this, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, come on.
Oh man, I love it so much. I really do.
I had you pegged on that one for sure. Just throwing this out there. Fun story for your listeners, Dallas and Celeste. When I was in 8th grade, I bought this crazy system from my friends. My mom didn't want me to buy it, so I ended up doing something very illegal and got enough money to purchase it and hid it from my mom for a long time. But it was this little system that would go on top of Super Nintendos and Genesis. This before Christ, guys. And you would put it on top of the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, and you would have floppy disks that would go in it. And one of the very first games that I got with it was the introduction to Dragon Ball. It was one of the original fighting games from Japan. And I would play this game, and I would get so frustrated because it was all in Japanese. And I would get into menus. I didn't know where I was at. And so I would hopefully guess my way in. And then you would get to pick the characters. And so I didn't know anything about Dragon Ball when I was playing it. But this game was so cool. And my favorite characters, just throwing this out there, was... I loved playing with Piccolo and I loved playing with Frieza.
Nice.
Because all the other guys kind of looked very, human, similar, different hair, but those two guys just were like, oh, these are like alien villain, bad guy looking things. Kind of reminded me of Martian Manhunter with Piccolo. So, yeah, I didn't know what I was reading, but I loved playing that game. I didn't. Other than that, the craze has been really cool, but it's not one that we've actually watched or played a lot. It's been on our show quite a bit, and when Omari was there, we talked a ton. So I don't have a whole lot of nostalgia with this one, except for that little tidbit. But I know it is. I know it's on Andy's for sure. He talks about it so much.
It for good reason. I love it. I'm with Andy, man. It's like if you grew up in the early 2000s and 90s. And you weren't watching this show, then you weren't there, man.
What else were you doing? I mean, sure. Were there things to do other than that?
I'm not really sure, man. I mean, like every day we'd come back from every day, you talk with your friends, like, all right, so what's happening here? And you get the stuff. And then you have that one weird friend that somehow was importing things illegally from Japan. You're like, what is happening here? And then you're like Googling. The best thing was Googling Super Saiyan level 5 and seeing these ridiculous.
Yes.
Speaking of that, one of my favorite videos, and man, I was on a rabbit trail for a long time doing this. Some of my favorite videos were if Goku could beat Superman, or if Goku could beat Hulk, or whatever. And then they would measure the amount of power that each one of them had, and with the amount of planets and blah blah blah, and depending on what level Saiyan they were, and I would just get roped in watching this guy just explain this for 25 minutes and be like, I walked away with like, okay, it's so much fun.
I'm gonna cry from the nostalgia right now. The fact I totally blanked on the Googling Super Saiyan level, like that was a thing that we all did.
It was.
Why? Nobody talked. Like nobody said we had to do it, but it just was a thing that continued. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It's just a shared experience that we all had.
I love it,
man. Baby Love. You got anything you want to say about Dragon Ball before we move on?
I'm feeling very called out because I did not watch Dragon Ball as a kid.
Well, here's the thing: you weren't. So we should probably clarify this. If you were a boy in the 90s and 2000, like this was, this is what we had to do.
Fair.
And you weren't allowed to watch boy shows as a girl.
I wasn't allowed to watch boy shows. So I'm pretty sure Dragon Ball would have been considered a boy show had my mom seen it.
Oh, that was a thing, huh? Okay.
It was a thing for my life.
I've expanded her catalog.
What was the first boy show that you actually watched? Do you remember? Like, where were you? What's considered the boy show?
Do we want to count what I watched when I was being disobedient, or do we want to count what I watched once I was an adult and it didn't matter?
Yeah. Which one did you first watch when you were freely allowed to watch?
I was introduced to Transformers, the movies.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's a good. What age were you when you were able to watch Transformers? This is just interesting. I love it.
Probably, I might have been 19.
Wow. Yep. That's awesome. Yeah.
Waited until I was no longer at the time. I was not living in my parents' house.
Another planet of Gravitron, but man, that Transformers movie killed me.
So, well, it was actually the movies, because it was when the Michael Bay movies were coming out, and then I had a friend
I'm talking about the original cartoon one. Well, I love those too.
And then I had a friend who introduced me to Beast Wars. Right after that.
Yes.
Nice.
That was a great one too.
I love that.
Love it. All right, cool beans. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been down the rabbit hole. We got our all the way down here. What is the top one, you guys? What do you guys call the George?
Do we want to do?
We call it the George.
The George.
The George.
Should we pull out our honorable mentions?
I think as we go through, we'll give our honorable mentions.
Okay.
So I'll start off. My honorable mention, before I give you my top one, is an anime series called Bleach.
Yes.
So good. And they're wrapping it up right now with 1,000 Year Blood War. It's been going on since I was in college, that I know of at least. And it's such a good series about a young man who's just thrown into this crazy world of defending Earth from basically lost souls and helping souls who have lost their way to basically move on past their trauma and stuff like that. And there's just this constant power up, the fighting, and it's just like it feels quintessential like samurai Japanese at the same time. And
but it also feels like a quintessential early 2000s.
It does. It feels like it feels 2000s, and like I can smell the code red and the Doritos while watching it. Like it's just there when you watch it.
It's one of those.
Just throwing this out there. This is one of those shows that I know I had something in my life, and then when I went to watch it, I was like, "Did I watch this?" I don't know, like where the influence came from. That I really like. Maybe it was something on MTV or something. Like it was something in pop culture that I saw. Maybe a shirt or whatever. But I remember like loving Bleach. That's a weird statement. But and then when I went back and looked, I was like, gosh, I don't know how much of this I actually watched.
Oh man,
that's one of those ones.
It's so good.
So Dallas and I thought
I'd watch more.
Dallas and I talk about a phenomenon of what's considered just generational knowledge. Like there's just things that even if you didn't watch it, you know about.
Right.
It's just people talk about it, people do it, and it's like there are things that when we were going through and watching Bleach, my first time was not in the early 2000s, that I'm like, this makes so much sense as to styles and trends and things that were happening, because this was probably very influential in certain groups, and so it helps click into place, and so there's cultural knowledge even if you don't watch it. It's just there because you were of the right age at the time.
Yeah, it was so good. So that's my honorable mention. But my number one, my Georgie, it's an anime that I have love for several reasons. The music, the style. It's an anime that's loosely based off of a manga that is unofficially based off of a German silent film.
Oh.
And it's called Metropolis. And
yes. I'm positive you've done this before.
I was
going to say, I wonder if he's going to say Metropolis.
Metropolis.
In my head, I've never seen that.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So it's loosely based off of the manga done by Osamu Tezuka, who is the godfather of anime. Tezuka, back in like the early days after World War II, I have so much respect for the guy because he's the one that revolutionized and helped anime just spread across the world. He's the one that created Astro Boy, which is one of the first animes to come to the States. But like in the wake of World War II, the dude would spend a week drawing these comic strips in what they called red books, and he'd walk through the slums of Japan, the area they lived in, and passed out these books to kids just so they'd have something to brighten their day and their week as they were reconstructing after World War II. So I love the heart, but the art style is just, they do such a great job with this anime. It came out like in 2001 of capturing the vibe of his early art, but still it being modern. And it was just so beautiful. And again, it's based off of the German silent film Metropolis. And in it, you have this kid and his dad or his uncle or grandpa, something like that. And he's like a detective, and they're in this city that is just absolutely massive, and it's multi-tiered, and it's almost like caste system that's taking place where you have those who are just poor and just barely making it at the bottom, and it's like this dark, heavy place. And then all the way at the top of the pinnacle, you have upper society, but you have this interspersing of robots also throughout the entire thing. And it's just so beautiful. And like the pinnacle of the movie, when everything starts falling apart, you have Ray Charles come in with "I Can't Stop Loving You," while the main character is trying his best to save this robot girl named Tima. It's just gorgeous all the way through, and I love it so much. It's one of those ones I go back to regularly, and I love this the generational, because the guy who did the movie was a student of Tezuka, and Tezuka swears that he has never seen the original Metropolis. That was the thing. He's like, I only saw one panel of it. I never saw it, but it's just strangely similar to the original Metropolis movie. So that's my George right there.
So you're saying these things. We had you on an episode where you talked about this.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't remember what our topic was. It wasn't anime because we didn't do, but it was something. It was something we had you on because I remember looking.
And he talked about the last one too.
Yeah, right. And that's where it's anyway, so because I'm Googling it as you're talking about it, I'm like, yeah, you absolutely, because I've seen this before.
I'm now trying to figure out what episode it was that we talked about.
I don't remember. It's been a bit, but yeah, I don't remember half my Rushmore.
Right while we commence, because I have the whole list here.
Yeah,
it's. I was like, so earlier when you mentioned, so sidebar, when you mentioned your last show, I was like, and the other one that is really ringing in my bell is something with a city. And I went and looked it up, and I was like, I think it's Metropolis. And I was trying to remember. I said it was on your show, but you might have been actually on our show because we actually talked about it.
Right.
But yeah, Metropolis. This is cool. You talked about the Ray Charles, and I've actually watched that scene, and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is really cool. And that because I remember that quite a bit, but I haven't watched this whole thing. Is this a movie or is it like a series?
It's a movie. It's just a movie. I'm now going back through your catalog. I got us talking about the greatest Marvel movies ever, and that was back in 2022.
We did come on when we were talking. I know we did one where we were talking about favorite females.
Maybe.
So maybe that's when you...
I don't know. My favorite female is you, so I'm not really sure what all we had to talk about then.
Funny.
That's a good one. That's a good save.
Movie females.
Smooth operator.
Take notes, fellas. Take notes.
I'm not even paying attention. That just came out.
This is just things that come out daily. These cheesy lines all over the place.
Well, man. This is cool, though. I'll have to check this one out for sure.
Yeah, man. It's great. It really is. All right. Well, Celeste, what is your George and what is your honorable mention?
Okay. So my honorable mentions.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so two of them have already been said.
Mm-hmm.
Assassination Classroom and Bleach.
Ah.
And then also Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was my gateway anime.
Gateway
I love it. It was. It was It wasn't the first anime that I watched, but it was the one that got me into the genre.
Right.
It's just a really sweet story about a samurai who doesn't want to be a killer anymore.
Yeah.
In the era where they're going from one to the other.
Yeah.
I've got it. I've got where the one you were on.
Oh.
Oh, what was it?
You were on our science fiction movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be it.
That would be it.
That's what I'm thinking of because no, maybe I'm thinking of Disney.
Because Ripley.
Because I pulled out Ripley. But also my last honorable mention is Superbook.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
That was such a good anime that I didn't know was an anime.
People forget the original Superbook was a legitimate anime. They hired.
Was it really?
Yeah.
They hired an actual team from Japan to create an anime to teach about the Bible, and they created Superbook. Also,
wow.
There was a show called The Flying House that had a pretty similar premise
similar
to it.
vibe.
Also,
I love seeing Jesus in an anime. Look at this.
Right?
How cool is that?
And it was such a cool little sci-fi story, and we had so many VHSs of it. But that's not actually my George. Those were just my honorable mention. My George is Erased.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, Celeste.
All the emotional damage.
Oh, that is such a good show.
I just love the fact that the show is so good, but then the manga and the live action all have different endings, which means you can watch all or partake in all three and enjoy all three. So for Andy and Kirk and listeners, Erased, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, is a show about a young man who can he travels back in time, and usually it's like the span of like 5 minutes, and he stops bad things from happening. And in the middle of episode 1, he travels back into his 6th grade body because there was
younger than that, I think.
Was it younger? Was it 5th grade?
Yeah, okay. But super young, like elementary school.
Elementary to early middle.
5th grade.
And so because he had completely blocked this out, but there was a series of kidnappings and murders going on when he was a child. And so there is this mystery. There is this 5th grader who is a 30-year-old in mind, but a 5th grader in body, trying to solve this mystery to change the outcome of the future. Because some bad things happen that if he changes what happened when he was in 5th grade, will change when he is 30.
Yep.
And it is so good. And we don't have the manga, haven't watched the live action yet. Just because I'm not sure I'm ready for the emotional damage, because this is the show that made me Google if Japan had child protective services. And I was so upset and yelling at the top of my lungs for the fact that they don't.
So I've never seen this. It sounds fantastic.
It's only like
Go ahead.
It's only like 8 episodes.
That's what I'm talking about.
You can watch.
It reminded me of Quantum Leap.
I can see that vibe.
You were like, wait, you go back and you fix things? That was what Quantum Leap did. I remember as a kid. Scott Bakula. But man, this looks awesome. Real high ratings again. Oh, my gosh, and it's beautiful looking. I definitely 8 episodes. I can jam with that.
And they're each what, like 30.
Yeah, they're normal, like 20, 30 minutes.
Normal episode length. So you could feasibly watch this in a Saturday, and then you will never emotionally recover.
One big long movie. I like.
Yeah, basically, and the depth of it, like the conversation that takes. But that's the thing is like there's a lot of the stuff that's less I like really love. There's a deeper conversation taking place within all of these, talking about society and culture and stuff like that. And this is really one of those ones that. It deals with the gravitas of like, what are we teaching kids, and kids dealing with trauma and what that looks like and how to help them through that. It's a really great series.
What does it say about us that we enjoy watching shows of kids dealing with trauma?
I don't know. We're probably working on our own childhood trauma somehow. I don't know.
Well, listen, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
So I'm not saying that this will not emotionally wreck you. I'm not saying that you might not cry watching it, but it's really good.
Yeah.
We
really
did throw around the idea, Kirk and I did, Rushmore topic of doing saddest moments in movie or TV, or saddest movie, TV, something like that. So this would this be up there for you? Just being put on the spot here.
This could be up there. There's a moment in Full Metal Alchemist that is everyone talks about as going.
That is
why?
the saddest.
Yeah.
And
well, I think go ahead.
If you ever see a cosplay where there's like this really awkward looking dog with long hair going Edward, that's the moment that everyone just dies.
I know Kirk would put Transformers movie. You put that up there, right?
Well, I mean, I immediately have a top 4 that just popped in my head. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like boom, 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 and they're all Disney except for that one. No, they're not. Super Disney.
I think this might be sadder than when Bambi's mother died.
So
I don't care about Bambi. I don't care about Bambi because we eat deer down here.
Bambi tastes delicious. Okay.
Littlefoot.
True story.
Fair.
Oh no, I got you. It's when Mufasa gets trampled. And Simba,
see, I wasn't going to say Mufasa. I was going to allow you to have it.
And Mufasa. When Simba says, "Dad, come on, we got to go. We got to go," and I'm like,
I don't know, but have you seen that Littlefoot one lately?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, then I feel bad for both of you because the show will emotionally wreck you even more.
Yeah, and can I share? Like, I love those kind of moments. To be honest,
yeah.
Like, especially if I'm in the right mood, I love a good something. I guess tearjerker, if you will, like a good emotional, just heavy cry. If it's written well and I'm attached, I actually kind of enjoy that. Like, so you guys know our friend Jeannie Mayo, and she does these amazing movies, and she's just having her last ministry. And bro, every time they play one of these movies, I don't even get to where the tough part happens. I start bawling as soon as it goes. I'm like, 'cause I know what's coming. I've seen it enough times, and I know that this is the last time ministry's out there, and it's enjoyable, honestly. Like I as a teacher, they often go, Mr. P, because they call me Mr. P. Mr. P, do you cry? And I'm like, yes. And if your dad says he doesn't, he's doing you a disservice.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yes, I cry a lot.
Facts.
And but anyways,
well, it's not that.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
It's not that type of a tearjerker, like, but it's just.
I mean, like even emotional,
right?
Like just
it gets you,
thought, like just all those things. I love that kind of stuff.
It gets you super involved. I want to say that when Dallas and I watched this, we actually stayed up really late finishing it because we needed answers.
Yeah.
we had
answers. To finish it.
We needed to know who was kidnapping and murdering these kids, and we needed to know that the main character was okay. And you will also need to know that, and I won't tell you.
I love that I picked two animes that are 1,200 plus, and you picked 2 that are like we can watch in a night.
That's just kind of what she likes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet.
All right, cool beans. All right, Kirk, what's your George?
Well, yeah, you. It's not a Rushmore, but it's already been mentioned on the show. Because Dallas, you mentioned one of my favorite cartoons of all time earlier, and it's definitely Go Go Lion. And
dude,
it's Voltron, 100%.
Word.
I watched this every day coming home from school. There was a series of things that were on in the mid 80s.
Right.
I was watching this not even knowing it was anime.
Oh yeah, I think most of us were.
I was just watching, like it was the introduction to me. I collected the toys. I had several different ones. I had the ones where it was just the cars, which was a kind of a shoot off. And and Andy and I have talked about this. You know, he was a Power Rangers guy, and I'm like, bro, that's just such a knockoff of Voltron. I can't get behind that business. But I love Voltron. Here's another tearjerker moment. Like, dude, like I think it was like episode 7, 8. Finn dies. And I'm like, what the heck? What's going on?
Dies.
And then the princess takes over for the Blue Lion.
Right.
The Row Beasts, dude. I love this whole idea.
Yes.
It's almost like it was almost like watching a video game boss every day.
Word.
And just him coming out, which I mean, and I loosely say the Power Ranger thing because that's just kind of what Andy and I have talked about. But like it's that whole show. You've got a bad guy every time. It's a new bad guy. Who's he going to fight?
Right.
Pull out the big sword, whack him up. And then the characters of the Lions were also individualized. Like you had Hunk, who was just this big goofy doofus, right? And then you had Pitch, that was the nerdy smart person, small green lion.
Right.
You had the tough guy and then the girl that's in there, and then obviously the kind of emo-ish character, right? And so and then you lose one with Keith and Sven. So I love the show. I tried getting into the new Netflix show with my kids. I kept falling asleep, to be honest. But
That's fair.
Yeah. Voltron is Defender of the Universe, dude. He is one of my favorite characters all time.
I love it.
And when you guys mentioned anime, it was first one on the list, first one that popped in my head, and I'm going like, okay, how am I going to surface the rest of this? Because to me, it wasn't. I mean, it is by far. Oh, I didn't give any honorable mentions though. Here's a couple honorable mentions, and all going back into that same 80s frame. And most of these, I've seen parts and bits and whatever. I don't know that I've watched all of them, but but things from my past, I remember hanging out and talking to friends. So, Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah.
Akira.
So,
side note, Hunter D.
Man.
And Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
We're all 4, and all of them are pretty. Oh, and Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
That's another one. So, but these are all ones that I remember like hanging out at somebody's house, and they were like they had the VHS or something, or or like, man, how did you get that? Because that where did that come from? And or like go into like Blockbuster, and they were in the back, right? Like this is the weird area. Nobody ever comes over here. But those are some honorable mentions that I remember as a kid that I was trying to figure out if I was going to put them on or not. Oh, and the last one. This is the one that I had to stop this week. Dominion Tank Police. And I remember watching it on HBO as a kid. Like it was one of those things that came on HBO. And wasn't very far in. And I was like, oh, let's change this. And I was like, gosh, did I watch that as a kid? But I remember loving it as a kid. So, but I didn't have a whole lot of parenting over my viewage.
That's fair.
Viewership. So, anyways, there's my George, and then a few honorable mentions.
I dig it. So, in light of the first off, fantastic pick with Voltron. Love that. That is definitely quintessential 80s anime right there. That and Robotech go together. But our brain stuff. Oh, Ghost in the Shell. They just announced they're doing a new Ghost in the Shell series, and Ghost in the Shell series. And we don't have a lot of information, but from the promo for it, it feels like they're going to lean more into an old school style art that was like in the original movie, which of course the movie was so well done artistically and everything like that. So that's a fair honorable mention.
One that I honestly, I remember the movie, the cartoon movie, obviously quite a bit, but I actually watched the other movie multiple times when it came out.
Yeah.
Which wasn't terrible, but it sure didn't do it justice.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of those really cool, like you were cool if you watched it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember as a kid, like, oh, you watched Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah.
Really? Man, you're cool. You're yeah, okay.
So about Voltron real quick. So I just Googled it, and I'm cool with it. I mean, I not Google it because I know what it is, but some people don't consider it anime because it's not produced in Japan. I don't know where we fall on that line of things, is what it said on Google, is all I'm saying.
So here's the deal about Voltron. Voltron, what they did is they took Go Lion, which was a Japanese anime, and they brought it to the States, and they chopped it. And really, all they really did, they dubbed things over, which they're going to do. But then what they did with the chopping was, because in America we had really strict rules, so nobody was allowed to die ever. So Sven, when he was talking about dying, he didn't die. He went back to to the home base.
You have to actually go watch the Go Lion episode to see it happen.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, everybody was like, he really died in Japan.
Yeah.
I remember people talking about it.
Yeah.
You're like, but no, he didn't.
And then later he comes back in Voltron, he comes back later for a secret mission in the actual Go Lion. It's actually his twin brother coming back for revenge. And so that's what takes place there. But they also cut out all kinds of stuff, like they cut out any scene where they were eating because they didn't think, because it was a Japanese show, they're eating rice, and they're like, well, American kids, they won't think that's interesting seeing them eating Japanese food. So they cut all the eating scenes out in the American version. And so it was wild. I count it as anime. I know that it's one of those contested ones, but I allow it.
It's the reason I said Go Lion first.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. I'm just saying what Google said. Yeah. And also to your point about me. Also to your point about me being Power Rangers, man, I was much more of a samurai superhuman samurai cyber squad fan.
My dude.
And a VR Troopers and even a Beetleborgs guy than I was. I did love Power Rangers though. Yeah, I know.
I'm with you on those Power Rangers. I was the Green Ranger for Halloween 1 year. My mom made the whole costume for me. And so,
dude, that's awesome.
Because Mary Beth is a beast.
I was Zach Taylor. Give me the Black Ranger with the Mastodon all day. I was to this day on the video games. Zach Taylor. I don't even care about anybody else. Everybody likes the White Ranger. Tommy, he's great. He's awesome. You need the Black Ranger. But that anyway. And also, I'm wearing black now. It's always literally been the color that I've worn. So it just is what it is. Yeah, but no, good pick with Voltron. I like that pick. I do like that pick. I just wanted to bring up that it is contested sometimes.
It is. Well, what's your George, or what's your honorables, and what's your George?
My honorable mentions, I have two. One of them is maybe a little self-deprecating, but we'll put it out there anyway. I was allowed to watch girl shows, but I'm going. I mean, we didn't even talk about it yet. Sailor Moon. I mean,
it's got one of the said that one too.
It's got one of the coolest theme songs of all time. I mean, it's so iconic. Sailor Moon was cool, and also again, BC kind of had a little crush on Sailor Moon as a kid. I mean, who didn't? What boy didn't? So it is what it is.
I almost had it on my list, Andy. Almost.
The other one, and I don't know if it's considered. Maybe it's why it's honorable mention. It's a contested one, but it's just really freaking cool. Star Wars Visions. Was so awesome to see Star Wars in an anime style is just like, well, this is different, but so cool. I remember like the first episode or first volume, whatever they call it, of it, just the animation and how it's kind of like bringing the samurai into Star Wars lore. Just is really cool. So those are two honorable mentions. But there's no doubt in my mind, my George, my number one, always has been, always will be. It's a Rushmore, Kirk. It's those pocket monsters, Pokemon. I mean, like, I don't know if we're have video with this. I think it's just audio, but just so you guys see. I mean, I've got my Pikachu pixel art right here going on.
And it got Mew.
Yeah, there's a ton of these. But I love that. 1998. What's interesting about this, it actually originated as the video game, and then the anime came from it, which is just a really cool kind of twist on things. 1998. I'm in fourth grade-ish or so. Just moved. I'm a new kid in town. Pokemon craze is the real deal. If you don't have Pokemon cards at school, you get beat up. I mean, essentially, you're weird if you don't have Pokemon cards. I remember begging my parents to get me Pokemon cards, and I had no idea what they were. Funny story here. I don't know if I've ever shared this. So we went to like CVS or Walgreens, or it was probably like Eckerd at the time. We went to some whatever, and I bought these things. I told my parents these are Pokemon cards. They weren't Pokemon cards. It was like some weird knockoff thing. They were like round pictures of, I don't know what it was. And I brought those things to school, and I was even weirder for having these things. They're like, what are you doing? But I remember my good friend Wesley. And this is literally like, again, I'm a new kid in town. I have these bootleg weird Pokemon cards, but he gave me my first Pokemon card. I'll never forget it. He gave me a Machamp. It was my first of all time. And after that, the addiction started. I had binders full of the cards, played the game with my friends, everything about it. Again, now to the anime side of things, coming home from school, hoping I was the last bus stop. And it was like, if I was off by like a hair, I missed Pokemon, or at least the start of Pokemon, the time that it came on. But dude, getting home, homework doesn't matter. Throw the bag, just jump on that couch, turn the TV on, boom, Pokemon's there. I loved it to death. Listening to the Pokemon rap at the end, doing the guess that Pokemon, like the silhouette thing, and just everything about it, dude. Playing the game on Game Boy. I remember, and I've shared this on the show. I remember starting. Now, red and blue are great. I love yellow, because I love getting the bike and that. But you can give me any of those, and I'm fine with it. But I remember starting it at my friend Justin's house at 8:00 at night or whatever. And the next time I looked up, the sun was up. Like I get, and I hate RPGs. I make that very clear. I don't like RPGs, but I absolutely love Pokemon. The nostalgia, the story of Pokemon, everything about it makes up for my hatred of RPGs. I mentioned on our show, we did shoot 'em ups, and I mentioned Pokemon Snap as a shoot 'em up, and I'll stand by it. I'll die on that hill. It's a rail shooter. You just replaced a gun with a camera. It's the same thing. And we've gotten a lot of hate for that, like legitimate hate for that, but
only from our favorite.
Well, that's a different story. But dude, everything Pokemon Stadium, the shows, the movies, the everything that came out. Now, I will say this: after Mewtwo, like I didn't really follow. Like I knew Togepi and that kind of stuff. I remember going to like Burger King and getting that gold-plated little Pokemon card. Dude, that was the coolest fast food thing I've ever, like the Pokeball that would open. Dude, I will talk about Pokemon forever. I love it. I'm all here for it. I like the new Pokemon. There's like 1,000 of them or more, whatever now.
Right.
They're cool. I don't have the nostalgia, the buy-in to those ones.
Right.
But dude, those originals, dude, don't even give me, I love Pokemon. It was no doubt in my head. And the show itself was great. The show itself was fantastic. I was always a Brock fan for whatever reason. I mean, obviously Ash.
So weird.
I don't know why. I was the kid who liked Brock. I don't know why.
So you like Brock, Vegeta, and Trunks. That was
I was that guy. I was the guy who was buying Pokemon cards from CVS or whatever bootleg one. So I was just weird. I just leaned into it. Also, along those lines of having a crush on Sailor Moon back in the day, I was a boy. I had a crush on Misty too. I mean, everyone did. I think we all did. But dude, I love Pokemon. The theme song's probably the best theme song of all time.
Right.
So you guys have seen, I think they had like the whatever anniversary of it. And the guy re-recorded that song, but it was kind of like a sad version of it. Oh my gosh. I cried. I have no shame in it either. So,
oh man. Did Pokemon, you see the final episode with Ash?
Yeah.
Did you notice that at the end of it, Butterfree comes back in credits? Butterfree, which he releases Butterfree like early in like the first season of Pokemon. In the final episode of it, in the final credits, Butterfree comes back to him.
Well, come on. So good. I mean, that kind of writing is just beautiful. It's just so good. Did you know too that originally Pikachu was not going to be like the mascot? It was going to be Clefairy. Can you imagine if Clefairy was the Pikachu?
I'm not sure I can handle that one.
Anyway, I adore Pokemon. I love it. It's fantastic.
I respect.
Fairy is not on anybody's radar.
No, if I gave you a Rushmore, I'd have to go into the ones I don't even know before I got to put there. I don't know about that. No, the worst Pokemon. I mean, like we've got Metapod, we got Magikarp. I mean, Magikarp's only saving grace is that he becomes Gyarados.
Magikarp, you need a lot of them, but he turns into something bad to the bone.
Yeah, I know, but the Pokemon itself is useless.
Right.
It's fair.
Yep. Oh my god. It's a great list. I love it. I love it so much. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this 2-hour podcast to an end.
For our 200th episode.
200 episode, 2 hours. Let's go. That ends up nicely. But ladies and gentlemen, Kirk, Andy, thank you guys for being on with us and celebrating episode 200, talking about our top 4 animes. Real quick, Kirk, Andy, how can people find you guys?
Yeah, you can. We're YouTube, the Rushmore Show. Just check us out there. We are also on Facebook and Twitch. Twitch is not. We don't use that as much, but YouTube is our main platform. We're on pretty much all the socials, I think. Even though I don't use X, I think we're on there. But go check us out.
We're on X. We're on Twitch. We're on TikTok. Even I
think we're actually on LiveJournal still somehow. I don't know how that happened. But
are you on
check them out on GeoCities later.
We're on Zanga and Vampire Diaries.
Man, if you're on Zanga, I want to know how you're there because I want to go back right now.
Man said Vampire Diaries.
I try to throw that out every now and then because I don't think anybody really remembers Vampire Diaries, but some people do here and there.
On the next Rushmore, we're talking about the top 4 social medias people nobody remembers.
Yes. Friendster. We're on Friendster.
Friendster. Wow.
Friendster. Deep Cut. Fiverr? What was it?
Fiverr. Oh my gosh. So many good ones here. So many good ones. But yeah, you can find us on YouTube. You can't find us on any of those other ones. But YouTube, for sure, go check it out. We're live every Thursday night. Live stream that with our buddies. We always, like Kirk said earlier, we bring a guest on and we nerd out about anything you can think about.
Word. Love it so much. All right, guys. Well, we want to encourage you guys check out the rest of Geek Devotions. Obviously, we have Gundam Watch, we have We Read Allegedly, we have The Bottom Shelf, and Spider Fan Podcast, and all kinds of other things. Baby Love, you got anything you want to add?
I think I am good.
All right, Baby Love, why don't you land the plane?
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Com Talk today. If you have loved this episode, head on over to Apple or Spotify to rate and leave a review. It is very much appreciated. So until next time, stay devoted.
Peace and love.